Guys, good morning, guys. So, over the past few days, the world came very close to something big, either peace or something much worse. What makes the situation intense is how fast everything changed in just 72 hours. Hope turned into tension, and tension turned into a global crisis. It all started on April 11th in Islamabad. There was a lot of excitement in the city. This was not just another meeting, this was a rare moment where two long-time rivals, the United States and Iran, were finally sitting down to talk directly. A fragile ceasefire had already started a few days earlier, on April 8th, and many people believed this meeting could turn into something historic. Pakistan prepared the city very careful, which has the flags of all three countries were displayed, security was tight, and everything was arranged to create a positive atmosphere. When the US aircraft landed, the American delegation stepped out onto a red carpet. It felt like a very important moment. On one side, there was JD Vance, representing the United States. On the other side, Iran's powerful leaders like Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf and Abbas Araghchi. At first, the plan was very simple. They were supposed to sit in a different rooms and communicate indirectly. This is called proximity talks. But then something unexpected happened. They agreed to sit in the same room. That decision gave people hope that uh, maybe the things could improve. But outside that meeting room, the situation was already intense. Donald Trump was making very strong public statements like warning that if no deal was reached, things could get extremely serious. At the same time, Benjamin Netanyahu made it clear that Israel would continue its military strikes in Lebanon, especially against Hezbollah. Iran was not happy about this. They wanted those attacks to stop before any agreement, but Israel refused. So even before the talks began, Iran felt like it was being pressured from all sides. Still, both sides went into the room and started talking. The discussion lasted around 21 hours. Imagine sitting in one room negotiating non-stop from night into the next morning. That shows how serious both sides were. But very quickly, a big problem became clear. They wanted completely different things. The United States focused on Iran's nuclear program. They wanted Iran to completely stop enriching uranium. The uranium enrichment is a process used to create fuel for nuclear energy, but it can also be used to make nuclear weapons. So the US wanted Iran to shut down key facilities and give up its stockpile of enriched material. From the US point of view, this was about global safety. They did not want Iran to have the ability to build a nuclear weapon in the future. But Iran said this is very differently. They argued that the nuclear program was only for peaceful purpose, like generating electricity. They also felt the US demand were too strict, almost like being asked to give up everything without getting anything in return. So Iran made its own demand. They wanted the US to release billions of dollars that had been frozen earlier. This money actually belonged to Iran, but had been blocked due to sanctions. Iran also wanted guarantees that Israel would stop its attacks. Now you can see the problem clearly. The US was saying, first stop your nuclear program. Iran was saying, first give us our money and security. Both sides were waiting for the other to move first, and neither of them did. By early morning on April 12th, the talks finally broke down. After nearly a full day of discussion, there was no agreement. Both sides came out and blamed each other. The US said Iran was not willing to make serious commitments. Iran said the US could not be trusted. And just like that, chance for peace disappeared. But what happened next made things even worse. Within hours of the talks failing, the US made a major decision. Donald Trump announced a naval blockade on Iran. A naval blockade means using military ships to control and restrict sea movement. In simple terms, the US Navy started stopping ships that were going to or coming from Iran. This is a big deal because of one important place, the Strait of Hormuz. The narrow waterway is one of the most important trade routes in the world. A large portion of global oil and goods passes through it. Whoever controls this area has huge influence over global trade. In recent weeks, Iran had been using this route as leverage. They were allowing ships to pass, but sometimes charging them fees or controlling movement. This gave them economic power. Now the US blockade is trying to stop that completely. The US Navy began intercepting the ships, aiming to cut off Iran's ability to earn money through this. They also wanted that they could destroy any naval mines placed in the water. Iran reacted immediately. The military, especially the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, called the blockade illegal and described it as an act of piracy. From their perspective, the US was breaking the ceasefire and escalating the situation. Technically, the ceasefire was supposed to last until April 22. But after this move, it became meaningless. On paper, it existed. In reality, it was already over. Now, let's look at today, April 14. The effect of all this are already spreading across the world. Because the Strait of Hormuz is now unsafe, many shipping companies have stopped using it. They are afraid of getting caught between US naval forces and the Iranian military response. So, what they are doing instead? They are taking a much longer route, going all the way around Africa, near the Cape of Good Hope. This adds many extra days to shipping time, sometimes up to 2 weeks. This that delay creates a chain reaction. First cost goes up, ship use more fuel, takes more time, add and require high insurance. In fact, many insurance companies are refusing to cover ships in this region because it's too risky. So shipping companies are adding extra charges. These costs don't stay with the companies, but they get passed down to businesses and then to everyday people. That means higher price for fuel, electronics, and even basics. It's not just ships that are affected. Air travel is also facing problems. Important hubs like Dubai are seeing restrictions in airspace. This reduces the number of cargo flights. As a result, goods that usually move quickly by air, like electronics, are now delayed. Countries like India are also affected because many trade routes pass through this region. At the same time, the global financial leaders are getting worried. Organizations like International Monetary Fund are already discussing how the situation could slow down the global economy. When trade becomes difficult, everything slows down. Growth decreases, price increase, supply chain breaks. So now the world is in a waiting phase. The United States is trying to pressure Iran economically through the bloc. Their idea is simple. If Iran economics suffer enough, they will agree to stop their nuclear program. Iran, on the other hand, is playing a different game. They believe that if global trade is disrupted enough, other countries will pressure the US to step back. So both sides are waiting. Neither wants to give in first. And that is where we are right now. A few days ago, there was hope for peace. Today, there is a tension, economic disruption, and uncertainty. Nothing has exploded into full conflict yet, but the situation is fragile. Everything now depends on one thing: who blinks first. Until that happens, the world will continue to feel the pressure in fuel prices, in delayed goods, and in constant risk that things could get worse. That's all, guys. Thank you all. Let's meet on another video. Until then, it's bye from Bharat. Bye bye. Have a nice day.